Welcome to On a Mission with Jack Sears here at thedailynewsnetwork.com. Joining me today as my co-host is Mac Holley with our sponsor, Heritage Capital Group. And today, we're on a mission to talk about financial literacy, and joining us is Ted Brauch with Citi. Welcome, Ted. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. I'm honored to be here.
Yeah. Mac, I'll let you have the first question to Ted.
Okay. Ted, I've known you a long time.
Yes.
Being bankers, commercial bankers, way back to the Barnett Bank days. And I know you're at Citi now.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you take a couple of minutes to tell us what you're doing at Citi?
Sure. It's a pleasure to reunite with you again, Mac, and so forth. I work at Citibank right now in operational risk management. It's what they call the second line of defense. I check the people on the first line who are doing the work. Sounds very interesting, I'm sure, but it's a very necessary function. Mm-hmm. So like in a football analogy, I consider us to be the linebackers and the internal auditors, the safeties,
okay.
So they don't score a touchdown. But I've been a career banker for a long time. When you and I worked together at Barnett, I was running an investment area for our corporate area. I ended up running internal audit. So I've had a very varied and different career in banking, including being a private banker as well.
Sure.
I know that during the beginning of the show, we were talking about your passion for financial literacy, right? And tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, as you can tell, risk management doesn't make my soul sing.
Okay.
It doesn't give me the passion that I want, but financial literacy has been something that's been very important to me for a long time. And it starts with when I was a young man. I was raised by my single mom and a great aunt who was an immigrant from Germany. And the long story made short is that through some bad investment advice, she lost half of her life savings.
Oh my.
And I didn't understand it at the time because I was I think eighth grade, I didn't understand it. But when I got married, I found out the reason why she was crying was not for her, was for me, because that was my wedding present, what was left. So that gave me a big impression, made a big impression on me and a big desire to make a difference for people to help avoid, mistakes from just not understanding. She only had a sixth grade education. She had to leave home very early. She was from Germany, and it just was a tough time. Then later in my life, my father-in-law got scammed, and he was a very sophisticated businessman, but he got scammed by someone in Naples, Florida. Active member of the church, promised him very conservative returns for a very conservative strategy, but ended up not losing a lot of money, but still being burned and embarrassed by it as well. And I didn't catch it at the time either. I actually met the gentleman or people from his organization. So since then, and through the grace of God, I've been able to go on a faith journey where I've started marrying both what I've learned in school and on work in the job and private banking with what I've learned from how God wants us to manage money. So it's a passion. And I don't always talk about God if I'm certainly in a secular world, but it influences everything I talk about. And so
it's a foundation.
It's a foundation.
It's a foundation, yeah. So thinking about this financial literacy, how young do you think we should start talking about money, savings?
Absolutely.
Maybe how to protect ourselves. How young?
I think they should start in the upper middle school.
Okay.
I'm working on a Bible study for teenagers at my church, trying to get them done, get them to understand, because we live in a consumer society. Everything is pointing towards, you got to keep up with the Joneses, keep up with your neighbors, I got to get the next hot thing. And so what I tell people is, it really boils down to needs versus wants. Do I need that new iPhone 15 or 16 or whatever it is, or do I want it? And does it bring me happiness and joy? And are we spending the money on things that truly bring us happiness and joy? And when we start thinking about that, that's when the light bulbs go on and we start a journey of exploration.
Well, here's one. I'm going to date myself here a little bit, guys. So I like your thoughts on this.
Okay.
So in our house, once a month, we balance this thing called a checkbook.
Yep, there we go. Yes.
And we still write a few of them.
That's right.
Not as many as we used to, okay?
Yes.
But to our kids growing up,
right,
they saw that,
right,
but they don't balance checkbooks.
Right.
So, what are your thoughts on that? And I remember as a kid, Mac, when I was in school, middle school as a matter of fact, we had a financial class that we had to learn how to write a check. And what's your thoughts on that real quick?
It's an interesting question in this day and age of everything's done on a phone. And I'll tell a quick story. I was talking to a parent and said, well, I'll show them how to balance a checkbook. And the parent's quick response was, they don't even write checks. They don't even know anything about it. But what I found in talking to people that are sophisticated in money, could be financial advisors or, unsophisticated, let's put it that way, most people don't keep a budget. They don't keep track of where things are going. So to me, whatever tool you use, be it a checkbook, which they're not going to use, or something on a spreadsheet, or even on a piece of paper where they write down where the money goes, that's where I think the enlightenment starts, because you start saying, I didn't realize I spent this much money on dining out. So like when I go on a diet, I wonder when I gain weight when I go and eat donuts for breakfast.
Right.
I'm not counting the calories, and I'm deluding myself and thinking, well, there's no problem from eating those, donuts.
That is excellent food for thought, and a great way to wrap up this topic of financial literacy today. So thank you for being here today.
Thank
and
you,
Mac,
my
thank
pleasure.
you for joining us, and Heritage Capital for underwriting this show. We appreciate it. So, Ted, how would we learn more to connect with you?
Well, you can find me on LinkedIn. I'm certainly available there. Or you can email me. My email is ted.brauch@yahoo.com. And very responsive. So if you give me a call, and I'll pick up. If I can't pick up that time, I'll make sure to return the call as quickly as I can.
Well, thanks for being with us today.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
That's it, folks. That's the time we have today for this segment of On a Mission here at the Buzz Daily News Network. If you'd like to learn more about what Ted is doing and a host of other things that are happening in our community, be sure to visit us at thedailynewsnetwork.com. Until we get together next time, I'm wishing you a great day, much happiness, and on behalf of our sponsor, Heritage Capital, be sure to treat each other the way you'd like to treat one another. Thanks.